Microphone check check 1 2 1 2 coming through like a freight train into the day, riding like a night train. What are the words? Something like flowing like a hurricane. Yeah. Nothing like a bit of rock to roll you. That's for sure. Music, it's always been an essential part of culture, an essential part of community, an essential part of our worldly experience, an essential part of togetherness, of happiness, of bonding, of sharing. The power of music to alter the human mind is it's quite stunning, really. That favorite song coming on the radio, that pick me up before you go out for the night, that energetic boost before the big game. It's always been there. Used to play my favorite songs before I went to school. Used to had this old double-deck tape recorder. It had written on it stereo, but I'm pretty sure there was just one speaker on the inside that was partitioned to push sound in two different directions. And I used to hang out around the tape recorder in the morning, and in the morning before I went to school, or in the evening when I came home, or at the weekends when I was studying, used to hang out around the tape recorder, and whenever a song I liked came on the radio, I would dive over and hit the record button and tape the song off of the radio, which is why I never had the start or the ends of the songs, because naturally the disc jockeys would talk over those parts. So I had these tapes of the middle sections of songs that I loved, and I would play them in the morning sometimes. Not every morning, because some mornings I'd be listening to the radio to tape the songs, and the other mornings I would be playing my songs. And that would put me in the right mood. Are you gonna go? You're gonna go, okay. Yeah, you see, it's the mental hour. There's this period of kind of like 15 minutes where if you go out on the road, if you get out on the road at the wrong time, then everyone is trying to overtake everyone else. and you just end up in Mentalville. I'm not even gonna try this morning. I'm not even gonna try. There's about 20 cars behind me, each trying to pass each other. And I know that if I pull out and try to overtake, that there's going to be somebody behind me with a car which is 20 times faster than mine. It's going to be up my rear end before I can do anything. Right, anyway. The music. The music was powerful. The only way to get new music was to listen to the radio. It wasn't like today where everyone has a connection to everything. There were a couple of radio stations, all playing the same songs. And that was it. Every now and then there'd be something like, I don't know, 1 in every 20 songs would be something that you liked. And you'd build up these tapes of music taped off the radio, and then you'd share them with your friends at school. They'd give you their tapes. Yeah, you'd swap, and it would all be cool because they'd heard some different stuff from you, and sometimes you'd even experiment with like making your own little shows. Like you'd record yourself talking and then put it in a song, and then record yourself talking again, and you'd throw in some questions and some quizzes and competitions and things, and you'd have a little bit of fun. You would be creative. Interesting that school never really built on anything like that. Although when I went to university, one of the professors actually asked us to create a tape of information and told us that we would be examined or tested on the content and the presentation on the tape, which was the first time that somebody had ever done that in my life experience, and I thought it was a wonderful idea, except for the fact that me being over creative, the problems of creative people. Except for the fact that me being an over creative person, I decided that mine had to be different. I couldn't just be bits and pieces of songs and talking. I decided to play guitar on it. so I was up to like 3 o'clock in the morning recording the different pieces of guitar for the tape. So it definitely was original. Whether I got any extra credit for it, I'm not sure. I don't think I did actually. Because it probably wasn't that good, because I probably focused more on playing the guitar music than I did on providing the content that the lecturer wanted. So music has always been there. It's always been around me. Even if, sorry to say, my parents had the worst musical taste imaginable. What does that mean? Well, music wasn't really that important to them. They didn't play any instruments, they couldn't sing, and they had a record collection which was highly embarrassing. My father had records of Maori war songs. No joke, seriously. And my mother had some easy listening, which was never really that easy to listen to. So inoffensive, it's actually offensive. And a couple of classical albums which were beyond my comprehension. I think Holst's Planet Suite was one of them. I don't know, maybe if you were taking drugs or something that stuff made sense, but it was a bit far out for me. You know, I had enough problems training to get into the school football team. Listening to Holst's Planet Suite was just beyond ridiculous. So, Mother used to play music on Sunday mornings to get me out of bed. It kind of made me want to stay in bed. Hide under the covers. Oh, she did have the soundtrack to The Sound of Music. And I think she kind of had a secret fantasy that maybe she wanted to be Mary Poppins. A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, medicine go down. I don't know, maybe that was some kind of throwback to not wanting to grow up. Or not wanting to let go, shall we say. We all grow up, but a lot of us don't let go. And as I've stated many times before, you have to put something down if you want to pick something up. So the tunes have always been there, and there was a great value in music, because not only would you exchange the tapes that you taped off the radio at your at Christmas or on your birthday, you could, yeah, maybe you got some music that you liked, that you were interested in, and you could then lend out these tapes to other people, and it really was a kind of currency, because the kids were desperate for new experiences. They were hungry, and the music was something that fed that hunger. It was a bond, and music was related to growing pains, teenage angst, and parties, of course. You couldn't really have a party without some kind of music. I don't know. It's odd the things that you remember which don't really seem to be that important, but maybe when you dig deep down, maybe they are. Maybe there's a reason why these anchors of thought are in place. I think I once asked my mother why her music collection was the way that it was. Oh, and my uncle had some really cool music which he left with us. There were a couple of Beatles singles. And so that kind of saved me. I would just play the Beatles singles around and round and round and round, kind of wearing out the discs. Maybe they're worth something now, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, I once asked my mother why the record collection was the way that it was, and her answer was that she did have other records, but she lent them to people when she was at college or university, and they didn't come back, or they came back damaged in some kind of way. And she never replaced them, which always sort of puzzled me. The why, if you really love something, like a record, if you really love a record and you lend it to somebody and they give it back to you and it's damaged, and you know, obviously, you know, someone who gives something back to you which is damaged and they don't tell you it's damaged, they're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to pay you for it, or you know, offer to get you something new, because that's who they are. Yeah, those who steal either in the moment or through time live stolen lives. They never really have anything which is their own, because they consider everything to be theirs. They completely miss the point. So I always wonder why she didn't replace the records. Because there are times in my life when I've moved, or I've just had to reorganize my life, and shit happens, things go missing. It doesn't, like, I've moved at least 17 different times in my life. And it doesn't matter how well you pack, how well you organize, how well you arrange, how well you prepare. Something always goes missing. It's interesting, the phrase "to go missing." Like it actually goes somewhere, all by itself. Something always goes missing. There's so much shit that we collect through our lives that nobody can keep a handle on it all. It's just not possible. So I always wonder why. And when I lose something that's of value to me, I like, and I've lost misplaced records and tapes, and oh my God, there's had a music company for 8 years, so been involved in so many albums, and I have no idea where any of them are now. There's at least 10 albums that I've been involved in the production of. That either I've played on, I've sang on, I've produced, I've mixed. You just lose track, you lose count. I have no idea where they are because it was all before the digital age took off. It's probably some magic box somewhere that contains everything. So, the thing is that I would attempt to go out and replace things. Had this Frank Sinatra album. No idea quite how I got into Frank Sinatra, but classics are classics. Frank Sinatra, Songs for Swinging Lovers. You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. Every time they add just such a dreamy voice. And misplaced that album several times. Went out and got a new copy. Yes, but they had sentimental. You just please let go of that sentimental value. You'll be 60 years old wearing clothes that you wore when you're 40. You know? Don't go there. You don't need to. The best thing to do with sentiments, I don't know, acknowledge that they're there and move on. Keep taking those little steps forward. Every movement has music. Every social movement, every political movement, every life has its songs. Songs help us frame periods of time. Help us capture the moment and then relive the moment. I guess that they were something like photographs before photographs existed. And what is the most important part of music? The very thing which allows music, its power. the very thing which makes it unique, which drives, powers through the music, is the silence. It's the silence that allows music to exist. It's the silence that allows us to refresh our brain and reset in between the songs. It's the silence that creates the tension and apprehension. The anticipation of what's next. So, to understand this, just think about being at a concert and think about those moments between the songs, or the few seconds before the concert begins. This is the power. Powers often lie in opposite ideas, hidden principles. Like the power to change something is nothing without the stability through which things can remain the same. There's a man in front of me trying to throw a plastic bottle into a bin. He's tried twice and missed. It's his morning game, third time lucky. Look at that. Yeah! He's done it. He's a hero. Perseverance, mate. Perseverance. So, change is nothing without the stability of maintaining something the same for a while. Power is not power at all unless you experience weak moments. Music is nothing without silence. You can't fully appreciate the wind in the trees, the sound of the birds, the rush of the water, if you haven't missed it for a while. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. It draws us to things. You can't have light without shadow. You can't have day without night. You can't have love without loneliness. It's the opposites that give meaning to the world and help us define and understand the experience that we have, that we call life. And that is Drivecast. I've reached my destination this morning, and I hope that you will reach yours as well. Wherever you are, have a great day. Live it with purpose. I'll speak to you soon.